still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go,
Stack Nation.
Champions!
Yes, sir. Double O.
Champion!
Oh man, how you feeling today, sir?
Feeling good. Feeling
Hey.
feeling in a good zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is good,
zone
man.
today.
That is good. You know, it is always a beautiful thing when your investments are down almost 60%, man, and you can still say you feel good.
Still 60%.
What kind of person does that?
Some of them are 80%, 90% down. I'm like, what the hell?
Right?
Never seen this before.
What kind of person still has a good time while your investments are down, man? Is what I want to know.
Well, it's just if you follow the rules of investing and you're investing over the long term, and you know that, and you're sure that what you have is valuable, and they are good investments, then what can you do then? Dollar cost average and try to bring your average price down. That's what I've been trying to do, man. Every single pay.
Listen, man, give that man a new Volkswagen. Correct answer.
Just make sure it's the right type of Volkswagen. You know what I
Nah,
mean?
man, we're getting one from the 90s, man. Unreliable as hell, bro. You know,
But you
we
know
want
what
some-
else is from the 90s? You know,
What is that?
the vintage. You know,
Oh, the
Lambos
vintage stuff.
are all under the Volkswagen family. You know, I'll take that.
This is true. This is true. But it's nothing like a true Volkswagen, man. We need something where your steering wheel will fall off while you're driving down the highway. That's what we need. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you meant Volkswagen family. You know.
Nah, I mean
I'll take
Volkswagen. I mean
itself.
Volkswagen proper. Okay, Volkswagen proper, like a Beetle or something like that. You know, those are the OG vehicles. But look, man, I agree with you.
You know what
What?
though? Those
What's
are
that?
actually increasing in value too. If you get the right one.
Really? Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
this is true. Actually, this is true. But seriously, dude, who is buying that for, for a higher price than I don't know, like a
Buying car is
Volkswagen
an
Beetle,
investment.
a Volkswagen Beetle from back in the days. I'll
Yeah.
give someone like a solid 500 for that.
Well, you can buy them for 15-30K if you buy the right one.
No, if you, dude, even if it's, think about it. What does someone need to do to a Beetle for you to buy it for 30K?
If
It's interesting
a
because I just saw an M3 from the 90s recently, right? It's going for $48,000. That car was selling for like 5,000 not too long ago.
yeah, it's an M3. It was mass produced. So if it's one of those rare
Yeah,
specific number, you know, somebody special drove in it, you know, maybe you know.
it's a scam, sir. Is what I say. It's a
Hey,
scam.
talk about art. You want to talk about art? That's a good investment. You want to talk about
Yeah.
buying the Ford GT as a good investment? You know, there are things out there that you can buy as a good investment. The builder might not be the top of the notch, but you know,
Hey, double O. Listen, if you pay 100K for a Ford GT and pull up somewhere, and someone paid 30K for a Beetle and pull up somewhere, it does not feel the same. You know what I mean? It's not the same, bro. It's not the same. Speaking of things that are not the same, man, Bitcoin is no longer the same these days, bro. Have you been seeing this thing?
don't get me cussing here.
Dude,
The war
price-
is on, man.
The war is on. The war is on, but
is on.
Again, on
Things are
phase.
blowing up left and right, man. This is like running the wood hog through the freaking battlefield.
Exactly. Look, the war is on, but I'm on phase because here's the thing. Like you said earlier, man, when you have a plan, right, then you're not reacting to things. When you have a plan, this is how you remove your emotions from investing. This is something I've always been talking about, man.
I'm working on it. It's not easy, but yeah, you
No,
gotta
it's
work on it.
it's not an easy thing, man. It's not something that we
it's
expect people to just do overnight. But I will say this: you're not selling your stuff in the loss because you're panicking, right?
Like, no.
So that is
You know, you saw what happened to my Twitter? Held on to that thing for 5 years, baby. Oh, I can't wait to get rid of my Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. I've been holding on to that thing
Listen,
for
man,
a decade now.
People are out here claiming to be diamond hands, man. I know a diamond hand sitting right here before me, man. Original diamond hand. Okay, you're running the diamond hand squad, is what I'll say. But no, look, man. I think a lot of people have been panic selling. However, okay, I think that this time is a bit different because there are different things happening in Bitcoin right now that we have not seen before, right?
Yeah.
And I just want us to just jump into some of the data points here, right? Look at some data,
do it.
right? Because numbers don't lie, right?
Numbers never lie.
Exactly. So before we even jump into this, man, because I think these charts are really cool, but I want to give credit first to who we saw this from, right? So this is from, we have an analyst on, what is that website again? Just give me a second here, guys. I'm going to find that website for you. So there is this website called CryptoQuant, and there is this analyst on there, Yuxuan Chen is his name, right?
You gotta pronounce it with the accent.
Hey, listen, man, I'm not Chinese, man. I'll just do it. Well, how can we assume that he's even Chinese, right? But anyway,
It might be South Korean. It might be Korean.
Well, you know, the kind analyst here has taken some look at the on-chain data, right? Yeah. And here are some things that I found to be interesting. And it really just confirms what we were talking about previously, because we've spoken about this before. We know that right now, okay, one of the biggest reasons why Bitcoin is dropping the way it is because institutions are selling, right? These are the guys who have the biggest bags. Typically,
they say risk off, get off.
Risk off.
You know?
Risk off. You want to talk about risk off. Let's talk about people who are not risk off, man. Peter Schiff. Okay, but we'll get to that soon, because you know what? I want to make an episode just talking about gold, and I want to compare with Bitcoin, because I'm coming for Peter Schiff now. You know what I mean? We have to say something back about gold. We cannot just let this guy keep running wild on Twitter like this. It's unacceptable. It's getting unacceptable, right? We have a few things for him coming up, but here's the thing. I think usually when you have these bear markets, we have people panic selling, right? Especially in the stock market, where it's also manipulated. There is price suppression that goes along with that too. And you don't even know what is happening. All you know is that you're losing. And so
a lot of retail investors don't know what's happening.
Exactly. A lot of retail investors don't know what's happening. Now, I'm quite busy on Bitcoin Twitter, right? I'm quite busy on a bunch of Bitcoin, other Bitcoin Discords and Reddit, right? And all those kinds of things. And as you're in the community and you're talking to people and you're looking at activity, on the mempool and all of these other things, you're looking at on-chain data, you can see that despite what the news is saying, what is actually happening is not what is happening in Bitcoin. Right?
Can you say that again? Despite what the mainstream media
is saying, right? What is happening is not exactly what is happening in if you look at on-chain analysis, right?
Yep.
And so I kind of went into digging to confirm this idea. And when we start looking immediately, right, that's when we start coming into this stuff. So let's check this out. We can see that one of those interesting things that are happening right now, which we spoke about, is that we see that institutions are selling this Bitcoin. But for once, we're in a situation where the retail investors are not selling these Bitcoins, right? They're not panic selling as before. They're continuously buying, they're holding. And so it would seem to me that if this big institutions keep dropping these Bitcoins, they're just giving it up to the retail investors.
Yeah, these are the investors that actually bought the real Bitcoin, right? They're not trading the Bitcoin futures.
Exactly.
So it's the actual Bitcoin.
Any of that thing, right? So when as they dump these Bitcoins, they have to ask themselves what happens in the next cycle when everyone is holding more Bitcoin. We know they like low prices, but how far can they push this plan? So anyway, we're looking at on-chain data here. We can see that in 2018, December of 2018, we see the massive purple spikes there. That is institutional investors buying, and it's interesting because you also have an indicator that is so similar to this on trading, and I cannot wait to see it. But they did their thing, they purchased, and we can see the price moved after that. Happened again in 2020, right? In March. Happened again in 2021. We see massive institutional activity on chain, right? And now we are seeing the same thing again, massive institutional activity on the chain. And I will be expecting this to run right after this. But if someone is not looking at on-chain data, they will not know this, right? Now, the second chart that I have here, which we'll just go through this really quick, we can see inflows, right? Exchange inflows for retail and institutions as well.
Yep.
And what we're seeing here, of course, retail is always doing its thing, right? But they're kind of holding steady right now. It's a little bit volatile, but they're holding. And we see the whale exchange inflow, and typically they make their move and they hold, right? Which will also be
Yep,
supported by the previous chart, which I just showed there. And now we're seeing again that they're making those moves once more, right? Whether they're either getting on, or it's exchange activity. So it's either moving coins to exchanges or purchasing or moving into wallets, whatever the case might be. We're seeing that this is happening with institutions as well. So I will not be rushing to sell my coins despite what happens. What are your thoughts?
I think what people need to realize or take the time to understand is that before you jump into buying any investment, you need to research and understand your investment.
Right.
Right? And a lot of people are getting into this crypto space because of what the mass media have told them, that people are spending $200 and becoming multimillionaires. All right, so they're in here to come and make a quick buck, make a quick buck, not realizing that you must understand the technology,
Yeah, quick bucks does not
the
exist.
concepts, the value that it brings to your society. So yeah, there are other cryptocurrencies, a lot of junk out there actually. 90% of them, if not more, of the altcoins are junk, right? Zero value, just there doing nothing, just stealing your money, right?
Taking people's money, things like Hex, especially,
You know?
Yeah.
And then you have Bitcoin,
Right.
right?
Talk to him.
Bitcoin,
Yeah.
it's the future of money. It's the future of how we hope that the economies are run. Kind of like how the internet came and decentralized information, where now you can take classes online without having to be physically there, without necessarily having the money to take a class at Stanford. That's what Bitcoin is trying to do in terms of giving you access to the global economy. So yeah, so before you go in and thinking that you want to invest and you're complaining, oh, I'm not making any money, I'm getting out, well, it's your fault. You don't know why you invest in the first place. So those that do know, they're buying up, man.
And that's the thing. And it's those that do know, they only know because of that education, right? Spending that time to just learn these things and know what's going on. Because it's the idea that people would, well, let me not say the idea that people will sell just because price is pulling back. We don't know anyone's situation. But if you're in Bitcoin, right, and you understand what it is all about, because this is what is also very important. Because before I really started to really zero in on Bitcoin, right, one of the things that happened was we went to this Mark Moss deal in Florida, and we know when I was there, I was like, man, these people are so, like, they're so
extreme.
Bitcoin. Like, yes, I was like, this is extreme, right? And I was like,
why are you so much on the hedge, man? Come on, man.
Exactly.
What's going on with you?
I know, because so I'm there and I'm like, hey, man, listen, like, there is other things other than Bitcoin, and these people are just like, nah, we don't want to hear it, right? No, we don't want to hear anything Bitcoin or nothing.
Yep.
And so I decided to take the time to just figure out why they were that way, right? And the more I started looking into it, I started to realize that, listen, man, the potential that Bitcoin promises, right? If we let ourselves get distracted, right, we'll find ourselves in the same place with the internet, where it's captured and centralized.
Yep.
Right now, we can see something like Ethereum working with the World Economic Forum, which is an entity that nobody is trusting.
As a matter of fact, the media says nothing about Ethereum. Nobody talks about Ethereum being a proof of work.
Yeah, no one talks about it. I wonder why. Could it be because they have control of it and they have plans for it?
Of course, they have plans for it.
Let's focus on taking out Bitcoin right now, then then bring Ethereum up later.
Yeah, but Ethereum will be there too. It's like Ethereum will be the blockchain that becomes popular, kind of like how Internet Explorer became popular. While there are other tools that was way more decentralized, kind of like the Windows operating system, where everybody uses Windows, but you never knew that you had the opportunity to use Linux or Unix without paying for it.
Exactly. And so I think that's the beautiful thing, man. People just need to spend time studying this thing. It's the same even if you look at South Africa, the president of South Africa, and we're going to do another video about that. He's urging the people in his country to learn more about Bitcoin for these same reasons, right? So
Africans especially, I mean,
yeah, we need this, man. We cannot miss this one, right?
Any colonized nation should look into it.
Absolutely. Well, what do you have on your? Do you have any sort of analysis
Yeah.
on
I
the
was
charts?
distracted there for a little bit because I don't know, my trading view was playing games with me. But let
Oh,
me go ahead and share my screen.
hey
Sorry
man,
about that, folks. If you notice
trading
me
views
looking
on.
away.
Hey man, it's
Yeah.
cool, bro. We're delivering the data, man. Let's do
All
this.
right. Let me see if I can zoom in. Uh, no, I probably can't. But I will
Mm,
give it a try. Come on, let's
oh,
go.
that's pretty good. I can see that.
All right. All right. So you saw that line on the chats that Brazen was showing you guys earlier, and we are seeing the same thing here.
Hmm.
Just looking at the most recent dip and when you've seen a lot of activity on the Onchain, that purple line shows you where all the activities are, and you can literally zoom out. And that purple line is not frequent. The bottoms are when people are buying up like crazy every single time. And there's a lot of purchasing going on Bitcoin at the moment.
Right.
Also, if you look at the RSI, right? If you're a swing trader, right, you want to look at points when the stochastic touch 30, because that is when the pump up happens. We are currently below 30. Now, if it goes below 30 and further below 30, that would be the first time it's ever done that. But over a long period of time, if you look at Bitcoin, those touches at the, oh, what, it's done that. It's gone way below 30 to, what line is that there? It's gone
So,
way below 20 at some point.
yeah,
That
I think it
happened
was.
in 2020,
Yeah,
March of 2020, during the COVID.
yeah.
I
At this
went
point, I think
as
it's
low
lower than that.
as, yeah, that was major,
Mhm.
man.
Yeah.
That went as low. That went as low as 18.
Yeah, that was what it's in. Yeah.
Yeah, right now we are at 29, which is below 30. Anything below that, the next movement up is usually extreme. So that's something interesting to look at with Bitcoin. We also have this moving average that we learned from a couple of friends that we made an actual friend that we made at the Bitcoin conference. It's the 100-day and the 37-day moving average. This
Dude,
is
that was
one
an
of
interesting
those.
concept when I saw that.
Yeah,
That was an interesting concept. Carry
it's
on.
one of the strongest. It's one of the strongest indicators of either a bullish or bearish move.
Right.
And you notice that the bearish move for Bitcoin, even though it started earlier, it became a lot much stronger in December. So there's a little bit of a delay factor there. You can move your moving averages around a little bit, which you can see here when you see the exponential moving averages of Bitcoin here.
Right. Right.
It started here in let's see, the first one was here, December as well. So yeah, the exponential moving averages are also saying the same thing. So the cross of the 20-day below the 200-day was major. Well, that was December. So as you can see here, Bitcoin did try to make an attempt around that 29K range, 30K range, but it failed. So as you can see, it's still pointing downwards. So yes, Bitcoin is still bearish, but as you can see, the volume is increasing.
Absolutely. Well, dude, man. Here's the thing, man. If Bitcoin is moving further down, which I'm hoping it is, what I would like to know is what everyone else's plan is, right? Because there's
Well-
potential that it's going to keep moving down as as we're going to look further into here. But I hope that it gets down there, and I want to know from anyone watching right now, what is your plan? Are you going to buy more? Are you trying to get to one full Bitcoin, or are you maybe trying to get to your second full Bitcoin, or are you just trying to get as much as possible during this period of time? Or maybe you're panic selling if you think that Bitcoin is going to zero, like Peter Schiff, that would be interesting to know. I would like to talk about that with other people too. So let us know in the comments.
For sure. And there are different kind of players in the space. There are some folks that don't give a flying F about the
I
objectives of
wonder if my
Bitcoin.
bleep button is working, by the way. Because I had one. Carry on. When I find it, I'll let you know.
Yeah, and they play the bull market and the bear market and make money at it. I personally am not the kind of person that will short Bitcoin.
Right.
I will short any other stock that I don't care about just to make money. But there are folks making money here on Bitcoin, and it's okay for them. If that's what they want to do, they can do that. But when it flips on them, which we've seen happen, it's
Big
not a
liquidation
laughing matter.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like right now, right? People are getting liquidated to the downside, and I think it's the same thing once it starts flipping back over. I hope they get caught out in the worst way possible. That's
Yeah.
what I say. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking of liquidation, Extreme Fears at 7. That was yesterday. At 3 a.m. yesterday was at 7. That was a good snapshot by Crypto Rover. And if you understand anything about the fear and greed index in the stock market or in the crypto space,
Right.
that's usually a good time to load up on valuable assets.
Absolutely.
I just thought I'd share that.
So I think that is worthy.
And I was saying earlier about short sellers, right? Short sellers are shorting MicroStrategy. There's another way you could short Bitcoin, right? You can either short the companies that are heavily invested in Bitcoin as Bitcoin goes down, which is strategies that people are using to make money in Bitcoin. Again, like I said earlier at the beginning, some people are in it to make the money, and some people are in it for the change, what's the right word here? The disruption.
Some people are in it to opt out of the traditional financial system,
Yeah.
right? And take on take on hard money, man, for the very first time. The only version of real hard money that we have. So that's a good enough reason for me.
So as we can see here in the space that the big funds are shorting Bitcoin, or they are shorting companies that are fully vested or at least have some partial investments in Bitcoin. And yes, they're going to make money, and that's a fact.
Right.
They can stop it, but it still does not mean that Bitcoin is dead or that Bitcoin is trash based on the on-chart analysis that you just showed us.
Yeah. I wonder, what do people, when people say Bitcoin is dead, I wonder where they get that information from. What are they looking at? These are the kind of things I would like to know. Because for the most part, man, it just becomes very annoying, especially when you have to deal with people that really think that they know what they're talking about, but they just did not even spend any time researching whatever it is, or researching the subject matter, but they have so much to say about it. There is this saying, empty vessels make the loudest noise. The stupidest people are the loudest ones, but I think this would be a great moment. I'm just waiting to see people get destroyed, and it sucks because here's the thing, man. I don't want to see anyone really get destroyed. I'm not really interested in that. I'm not really interested in seeing people miss this opportunity, because this is something that is, we all need this.
It's a systemic issue. I will show you more charts where you have the bears making money, but then you have people that have gone over. What's the right terminology here? They've over leveraged their Bitcoin. That they've gone super long. The Bitcoin the long charts for Bitcoin is extreme. Which sometimes I think is not safe for the space, but there are people out there that have gone super long, like super greedy on Bitcoin.
Well, here's the thing, man. If you were already leveraged on Bitcoin like pre-pandemic, are you really worried about it? But of course, most of that is also very recent. But I wonder, do these people just have that much money to keep covering their positions? And how long can you cover?
I'll show you a good reason why. Let me show you another chart real quick.
Yeah, I said covering.
So
covering,
we have
continuously extending. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah. So again, you see here, right? You were saying earlier that people are not doing their research. Maybe they're doing their research and they're just using mass media, right? Like Fox News, CNBC, Bloomberg, right? And remember, I exited out of my Bitcoin, all of my Bitcoin, when the Bitcoin futures was approved, right? And that thing had $1 billion worth of investment to destroy Bitcoin, right? And I would not I will have my thesis is that that $1 billion Bitcoin ETF, futures ETF, is
Right.
part of what is contributing to the disruption that we see in the exchanges or in the market price, not the value of Bitcoin, because we can see the wallet sizes are increasing, we can see more retail investors buying, and we can see like the usual whales are still buying, but then we see the constant trading of Bitcoin to the downside, right?
Absolutely.
We have a
Yeah.
lot of shorts on Bitcoin, and they're constantly making money along the Fibonacci levels to the downside. And this article right here, although it's hidden and nobody talks about it, says a lot about why that futures ETF was created. Because if you look at the approval date of the futures ETF, April 6th of 2022, Bitcoin made a lot of money to the upside all the way to October. And then when they knew that they wanted to exit the stock market and Bitcoin itself, they started trading it downwards. This is what we call market manipulation. And this is one of the things that you have to expect when the big banks come into the crypto space. They push the price up and they can also push the price down.
Yeah. I think pushing the price, that price movement, right? And I think that this is one reason why people need to look at Bitcoin further than the price, right? Because if someone is heavily investing in Bitcoin, just desperately trying to make some quick money, right? I think that this is probably not the best situation to be doing that, or the best asset to be doing that with. Of course, unless if you're institutions, then you already have the information to make that happen. So it'll be interesting to see. But I do think that this correlation is going to fade away. I don't think this futures ETF, well, maybe it would continuously be able to be traded against Bitcoin, but I think at some point we have to break above whatever price point that I think we shouldn't be above, wouldn't you say? Which wouldn't that lead to a short squeeze as well?
Yes, which goes to what I was thinking about the topic of this video. Extreme shorts, and then folks like you and I that are constantly buying. Kind of like what happened with AMC and GameStop. Oh, you want to short the stock? Go ahead, keep shorting. We keep buying. And then what happens? The short squeeze.
Yeah.
Is it possible? This is a good question for folks out there, that we could see a short squeeze on Bitcoin. Because when that happens, what's going to happen to Bitcoin price?
I mean, I think we'll see a run up on Bitcoin. It's inevitable, right?
Yep.
The halving. Let's say Bitcoin stay forever, at below this price range. The halving is gonna happen,
Yep.
right? That cannot be stopped. That cannot be manipulated. That is coming, no matter how they feel about it. I wonder if they have a strategy around that. You know.
Well, just like we've noticed that Bitcoin has been treated like a tech stock, because it is a technology, so I don't see any reason why, of course. The market is not going to be in a recession forever. We're going to eventually become bullish. And folks are going to look for higher risk. And the crypto space is always going to be there. The crypto is on itself, so it's a technology. Bitcoin just tends to focus on one thing right now. Not that it cannot do everything else some of the other cryptos are trying to do. When that bullish market happens, you can't control what strategy are you going to put against Bitcoin at that point.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's interesting. We just have to wait and see this one, man. Because
I think that's what everybody just have to do. What's the bottom? I don't know the bottom.
No one knows the bottom. No one knows what might happen next, you know. But all I know is I'm going to keep buying. That's really the best thing anyone can do right now. Just keep buying and holding, you know. So we'll see. I think that the hedge funds are going to get blasted out of the water on this one. That's for sure. Any final thoughts, sir? Or do you have any? Wait, didn't you have?
They don't have a dark pool.
Didn't you have it? Oh, there is no dark pool. There's no dark pool. They're gonna get wrecked. This is the thing.
You have a future ETF and that's it. You don't have a dark pool on this one.
Look, man. Here's the thing. The institutions, okay? The institutions think they're smart. They always think they're smart. They're always trying to crush everyone, okay? But I've said this, and I keep saying this, man. Society has access to a lot of information right now. And society combined outsmarts the crap out of the institutions. Okay?
No matter how much money they have. You can have all the money.
Bro, didn't they send a couple hedge funds bankrupt when the Robin Hood thing happened? Where was their money to save them then?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, look, I don't know what is going to happen. I'm going to keep studying and I'm just going to keep my head down. But I don't know what's going to happen. But I know that at some point, all of these things that these people are doing is going to backfire heavily. And there'll be no halting the market. You know who's going to be pissed? You know who's going to be pissed? The people who have that futures ETF. And when it's running to the upside and they're trying to sell and they start halting them, right? We know how this goes, okay? Or whatever direction is moving in, it never works out in favor of the. You cannot hold Bitcoin, man. So I'm waiting to see how that happens.
24/7.
Yeah,
7 days a week.
Happens. That's just how it needs to happen. Hey, you know what would be amazing if it runs up on a Friday night. And runs up all weekend, bro. All weekend long, like 10,000 up on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? Let's mark that. That might actually happen.
You said
it. Yes. Click this video. You know what I'm saying? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a cool video. We just wanted to take an overview of where we stand right now with Bitcoin. Just some more data points there, man. You know? Any final thoughts, sir?
Yeah, and this is one of the things that we don't talk about a lot. Our mission, our goal, really, outside of making podcasts and YouTube videos, is to educate and inform you guys. And that's kind of what we hope we've done with this video. And we're also trying to get that into the educational courses as well. So we're creating more knowledge, more readable or educational or informative videos,
just stuff content to help people learn and adopt Bitcoin more easily. Yeah.
So
I like to think of us as a digital asset service provider.
There you go.
It's a new era, you know, new things happening and all that stuff, you know. And look, man, it's difficult to make these things in a super short video, man. I don't want to be like a YouTuber who just comes on with like some popping shit just to freaking get people to be excited and all of that good stuff.
It's that TikTok mindset, you know.
Yeah, man, I'm interested. Look, boom, man, if you don't have the capability or the bandwidth to watch a video for more than 1 minute, I guess it is what it is. Have fun staying broke. What can I say? It is right. Well, double O, man. Let's close this one up. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen. Brazen out.
Double O out.